Hello, I'm Coach Lance Meyer of GRAS Ministries here at the Green Room Art Studio, and today we're going to start a little project with portraits. So some of you have seen some of my work with a number of portraits that I've done. So today I'm going to take time and show a couple of steps into going into painting those portraits that hopefully can be helpful for you as you begin or continue to work at your own portraits. Fortunately, we're working today with some pretty simple tools here. We simply have kind of a bigger brush that I'm going to use for dousing with water and getting plenty of wet on wet. I've got a large flat brush, a medium flat brush, kind of a small round brush, and then your tiny detail brush here. I have some more that I may grab, but those are the main ones that I'll be using. I tend to use that fairly consistently throughout my work. I'm going to set those right down here. Obviously we have some water. And of course, the one thing I forgot to grab was some paper towel, but I do have a sponge over here that we'll use if we need that. I have my picture, and I have some different paints with me as well, but very simply from Hobby Lobby, a set of paints here in a wide variety of colors. We'll be primarily using blues, yellows, and reds today. I'm going to flip this around so I can see it. Now, there's a lot of different ways to start a painting. What I like to do is grab that small brush, get a little bit of water on it, and I like to start, especially in portraitures, with just a little bit of that detail in the face. So I have drawn a few of the details on the face, just so I have a couple of things in proportion there so I can work quickly. One of the nice things with watercolors, the more vibrant colors you'll get when you just kind of work loosely. So that's one of the tricks to this. But we do have to have some details in there. So I'm going to get started right away. I'm just going to grab a little water here, and we're going to grab some blue colors. I happen to be using a little ultramarine blue. You could use a little cobalt, but any blue will do. And I'll probably throw just a little bit of, maybe just a little red in there, make it a little bit purple. There's a little permanent rose that is a good color to mix. You can use alizarin crimson, but any reds will be fine, and you wouldn't even have to do that in there, but I'm just going to put that in there just to get a little purpley color a little bit in my darker areas. And all I'm going to do now is, usually the eyes are some of the darkest areas, so I'm just going to start putting a little bit of that, kind of drawing with my paintbrush in and around where these details are. Now I'm looking at my picture and where are some of the darks, and that's really all. I'm not even, yes, I am drawing an eye here, but and I am trying to get that detail correct, but I really am just looking for where are the darks. I'm just going to kind of put those dark areas in there. I left a little white in the eyes. I can always come back and darken that up. And now up in the eyebrows here, I'm going to throw a little color in there. I might even bring this down so maybe you can see it a little bit better. Okay. Working pretty loosely here. Just grabbing a couple of my blues. If that got a little high, I can dab that off a little bit. Okay, we know we have kind of a line through the lips here. I'm going to darken that up a little bit. And, oh, let's say we wanted that just a little more red. Oh, yeah, add just a little more red here. We're going to come back over this, so no worries. Just trying to get, oh, we got a dark down here. We're going to get that in there. And what else we got? We got a nose in here somewhere, some of those shapes. So I'm going to get that down in here. Again, working relatively lightly, but it is my darkest value right now. Some people like to really get that. Okay, let's do that. We'll get this real dark in here because we know that's going to be dark. And things always dry lighter than with watercolor. That's one good and bad thing about watercolor. And we're going to just kind of get where this nose comes in here and a little bit over here too. We got a little shadow down here. And we'll put in a little bit of this, this bearded area here. We got a little bit of that dark in there. Coming down here a little bit. Again, working quickly. Going to make some mistakes, but we're working pretty light here now anyway. I'll add a little bit of that beard in there, and I'm grabbing, what the heck, we'll grab a little bit bigger brush here for a couple of these bigger areas. But we're just getting those details in there a little bit. I'm not even doing wet on wet at this point. I'm just getting where my lines are. Kind of get the outline of the face and a couple of these hair lines in there. I could be more aggressive with that, but I'm just going to get those colors in there to start with a little bit so I can kind of see what I'm working with. Because after this, I want to work real loose. Okay, we got some, yep, coming in. I'm going to look where this is. Okay, we got that piece of hair there. And we're coming in here. And I'm just going to kind of get a couple of this little stuff going here. And okay, the one line I want to try to get somewhat correct is my neckline. Something like that. We'll get a few, and eventually I might even add a few more whiskers on the bottom here, but I'm going to get that in there a little bit. Up in here. Okay, we've got a basic outline of what we got, and then we're going to have some fun here. Okay, so hopefully I'm bringing that up a little bit too so you can kind of see. We've got kind of the outline here. Notice it's, you know, pretty accurate, but it allows me to come in darker and make some changes if we need to, if something's not quite right. But I like overall what that looks like. So I'm going to go with that for right now. Now, a couple different choices. Do you want to do the face first or the background? I tell you what, I love just having a whole lot of fun with this background. So it kind of allows me to be real free at the beginning of a painting, and then allows me to, it'll allow me to make some decisions later on based on what that background looks like. So there's a lot of different ways we could do this background. On the original, you can kind of see some grays and kind of some blues and stuff back there. We could keep something like that. I'm going to choose to do one of the things that I kind of like using is some greens and blue in combination. It allows for some kind of cool effects, and I'll bring that back into the face a little bit too. So I'm going to grab this little larger brush here. This, again, can be just about any larger brush. We're just going to get lots of water on this. We could also spray this. I'm going to today in studio here, not outside, so we're going to use not spray bottles, but the brush here. And I'm just going to kind of work around the face and just get that water. And now the one line I want to catch is, yeah, kind of the edge of the shoulders here. I may choose to go right up to the edge of the hair. I may choose to leave a couple white spots in there, but I'm going to bring that pretty tight. Okay, so when there's a little leftover color up on this piece of tape that I was using, that's fine, no problem. That'll just mix in there a little bit, and we'll see what happens. This is, I like to start, after I get those details in there, with something that's not going to have to be real detailed. But, there we go, we got plenty of water. Okay, now, I'm going to again work with a pretty large brush here, flat brush. And again, I'm going to put water on that. And now what I'm going to do is grab some greens here. I'm just going to grab this one over here, and I'm going to stick that. I got another palette rolling over here. Stick that up here. And we're just going to mix up. Actually, bring this so you can kind of see it. I'm going to mix up some green. Grab some of my green over here a little bit. I like this kind of light green. Throw that in there. You notice my palette's just so clean, right? Matters, but it doesn't, especially in this kind of thing. We actually don't want just pure colors. So got the green is in there. Throw in a little bit of that one in there. Grab a little bit of this one over here. That's kind of got a vibrancy pop to it. Now, here's where we get to have some fun. I'm going to grab some of this kind of bluish color over here and a little bit of this one and mix that in there. And we get a combination of this blue and green color. I can push that more green, and I can push that, you know, let's say I'm trying to do more like trees, or if I'm trying to do more like a sky, then I'll push it more blue, or if I just want something that's going to kind of bring some vibrancy to the painting. I kind of like this color right here. I'll just be honest with you. It's one of my favorites to work with. So I'm just going to take that now, and we're just going to throw it in this background here. Not trying to be exact. We're just trying to get that color in there and kind of see what the paper does, see what the God does with it, and what the water does. And, ooh, there we got a nice pretty color. And I'm going to look, yeah, there's going to be some of that in this hair anyway. So I'm going to bring just a little bit of that into there. And, yeah, there we go. Okay, now if I feel like, ooh, we just need it more vibrant, I'll throw a little more blue toward the sky up here. I like to maybe one side more blue and one side a little more green. But, okay, let's take a little more green on this side then. Yeah, there we go. I'll look again. Yeah, a little bit of this green's going to come in there. And then I'm just going to look if there's any spots on the face that I think would be kind of that blue. Well, okay, here's what I do see as I'm looking closely. I see that in this, in the hair here, there's some nice, some of these blues, and I'm going to just throw that in there. I probably should have that a little more wet on wet, but I'm just going to throw that in there a little bit. And okay, something like that. Okay, now in the face itself, do I see any greens, or is there a place I could maybe just add a little bit of green in there? I'm going to grab that dab white a little bit, and I am going to say that down here there's a little green or blue, and I'm just going to kind of push that in there just a little bit. I'm going to, let's look at this face just a little bit. Okay, down in here and around the beard and maybe on this side. I'm just going to throw, and maybe a little bit up there. I'm just throwing some water there. And then I'm just going to kind of lightly, but I'm just going to add a little green up through here. Because when I put reds on that, that green is going to kind of blend in there nice. So I'm kind of looking where it's a little darker. Maybe a little spot in there. I could even put a little bit in the eyebrows. I'll do that. We always can add a little bit of that in the shading there. I like underneath the chin, or underneath the lips, I should say. You could even add some in the lips. I'm not going to do that, but oh yeah, here we go. Just a little bit in that beard there. Okay, I think that is decent as to what we're trying to do here. Now I'll also look in the shirt, or what are we going to do with this shirt? Are we going to keep it those reds? I actually kind of like that idea because that offsets the greens a little bit. But in there we have a little dark area in here. We have a little dark running through here. We have a little dark in here. And I think that's probably good for right now. I could bring it across here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep that white for now. Now I'm going to look back in my background. Do I like what that looks like? Another option would be to add a little red or pink into that. I'm going to choose not to do that. I am thinking, though, that maybe just a little more vibrancy in there would be good. So I'm going to re-grab a little green, maybe a different color green a little bit. And I want to just get that just a little more pop to it. So in a couple spots, I'm going to grab this green here, and I'm just going to kind of, there we go, just a little more oomph. And then I'll grab that blue or a different blue and throw that, ooh, look at this. We got some nice darks down in here. Okay, and what are we going to do up here? We're going to keep that lighter. It's a good question. I'm going to go one side a little darker, one a little lighter. Let's do that. We'll keep that one. So this is going to be a little darker. And again, there's just a lot of ways to have that. The main thing I want to do is just get some color in there a little bit, maybe something I can bring back into the face. And what does it look like? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We can always come back into it, but if I can hit this right away and have it stand for itself, that tends to look good. So here's one more little technique we're going to take today that I haven't used a lot. Bring this back over here. I'm going to grab this little sponge over here, and I'm going to just sponge out maybe this area that's kind of real dark. And let's just see what that sponge does. Not a lot. Maybe I'll put it back up in here a little bit. And I might get some effects with that. I may not today. Who knows? Yeah. What I like to do, you can kind of see that happening right here a little bit, is some parts of that are getting dry and some are dark. Sometimes I like to come back now and throw a little color in those dark areas just to pop them up a little bit. Do that just a little bit. We get some nice effects. I can do this a little bit, let that water naturally kind of do its thing. One other technique that I might try here, actually I mentioned putting a little pink in there. Here's what we're going to do. Ooh, I like this. I'm just kind of letting that run a little bit. It's one of the funnest parts of our paintings right here. Here's what I'm going to do. I mentioned that red. What I'm going to do is grab a smaller brush here, my small, and I'm going to grab a little bit of red of some kind. I'll use this permanent rose again. Again, any red. And I'm just going to put that in that hair a little bit. Although I really like that color in there. I have to say that before I do this, is that really what I want to do? Because I really like this color in there. Well, I said I was going to do it, so here's what I want to do, though. I want to have a pretty wet brush. And what I'm trying to get is to get this, yeah, there we go. I'm trying to get this so it kind of runs down. Yeah, there we go. Yep, this is going to be good. I almost get a little gray. So I'm going to grab, again, a little bit of that red. And, oh, made a kind of face. That's okay. We'll just get that in there. I want it to run, though. There we go. This stuff is drying a little bit, but I just want a little bit of that red in there to kind of run down the face, or run down the hair a little bit. What made me think of it is how that water was moving. I'll keep this pretty wet. It almost seems like I don't have any goal here at all, but just kind of, there we go. And a little bit here, just kind of getting a couple of those reds in there. I'll bring a little bit down here into the beard. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I got my reds in there a little bit, and I don't want to, I really got some nice effects in there, so I don't want to mess with that too much. I'm going to roll this back up a little bit, see what we get there. See that green in the face there? What's going to happen when I add the other colors in there? That green's going to give it a nice base. All right, we've got our background. And I think overall, other than, I'm going to darken this one corner just a little bit. This is a little bit of composition here, but I'm going to darken this corner a little bit, and I may even do that a little bit up on this side too, without it trying to, something like that. I kind of want to have a dark corner, dark corner, dark corner with a lighter corner here. So that's just a little technique that will help you in composition a little bit. Having either three white corners and one dark, or in this case, three of the darker, a little bit darker sides, and then this will try to keep a little light. It just adds a little balance to our painting here. I'm going to do one more. I'm getting carried away here. Just one more little. What I like is, yes, you got some that's wet and some that's dry. I don't know if you can see that, but if we can get that color in some places to run and then catch a little bit of area where it's dry, you'll get some really nice effects. So one of the cool, and this obviously is, there's a balance of skill and just seeing what happens. But one of the cool things with this is you kind of just allow the paper and the water, throw the colors in there, and you kind of just see what happens. So I didn't come in, I have a plan obviously, but I'm allowing that to unfold based on what actually happens in my painting. Yes, I am going to use my photograph, but really I'm concerned with, ooh, what do we have? We got a nice color in through here. That's just so beautiful. That's what makes stuff pop in a picture, okay? So enough on that. Let's get to the next step, which we will make, let's do the flesh tone, because that may make a decision on what I want to do on the bottom down here. Flesh tones, okay? I'm going to tell you this. I learned this from somebody that really the colors don't necessarily matter as much as the value, how dark things are. So what What I mean by that is you can be pretty creative with your, don't get so caught up, oh, it has to be this flesh tone. I am going to lean into the yellows and the reds and a little bit of blue, which will give it that flesh tone. Obviously, we're working with a African American, and so you're going to have a little darker flesh tone, and that can obviously vary. That will be probably a few more blues, but it doesn't have to be that way. But I am going to just kind of use some typical colors so that, especially if you're just beginning, you can be confident that you'll have some results with that. Okay, so one of the keys is, again, I'm going to wet the area. So I'm going to take that big brush again, and I'm going to get this whole area, other than I might keep, I'm going to keep a little bit of white right in the middle of that nose, and maybe on the middle of the lips here, maybe a little bit, because I can always come back darker, leave a little bit of white there, and I'll leave, even though it doesn't look that way on this particular photograph, I'll leave a little bit of white in here, because we can always come darker there, and kind of any of these flesh tones in here, I'm just going to get that paper in there. Now, you notice that green is kind of running in there, and you think, oh no, I've lost my flesh tone. No, actually you built a really nice base to your painting here. So, keeping that pretty wet. Now I'm going to grab a couple different ways I could do it. I could use this flash brush, this one here. I kind of actually would like to do that, but I am going to just grab one that's a little smaller with a little more control, and that's that other flat brush, if I can find it here again. Otherwise, we'll just use that big one. Well, we're going to do it. We'll do the big one. All right. So I'm going to grab, there is kind of a lemony yellow. I'll grab that. And I see I got to clean my brush a little more. Figure 8 in the water. Figure 8 movements in the water will help keep your brush a little cleaner. Don't really want too many greens in this yellow right now, but I'm just going to throw that here. It did get a little green. We're going to, which is not good, but we're on video here, so we're going to kind of move quickly. What I can do to get that, throw just a little bit of red in there. And we'll even grab just a little orange, which will brighten it up. Okay. I have the other, actually the yellow I really like is this kind of yellow ochre. There's another little flesh tone yellow over here that I'll grab. Quin Gold. I could just grab from my palette over here. And if that's what you have, just find a flesh. So here's a good flesh tone. Throw that in there. That might be better than what I have anyway. Okay. And yeah, we're going to get some reds in here. Here's the point. It doesn't really matter that much what this color looks like. We want some reds in there. And then I'm just going to grab a little cerulean, or just, I'm going to grab actually, we'll grab a little ultramarine, but that darkens a little too much, but keep it a little red here. Okay. It's not my favorite color here, but it will, as long as we have something in that range, we can move it and play with it, okay? So let's just go with that. Okay, so all we're going to do is just kind of work now in that flesh tone area. So we're going to throw this in here, let it kind of bleed down. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of leaving some of those greens, but I'm just getting that color in there. Okay, right there. And we got in and around the lips. Okay, I got my flesh tone. Okay, the nose, we got that there. Yes, I'm trying to be a little careful, but I'm just kind of letting this color kind of do its thing a little bit. Oh, yep, okay, I do need to get some darks on this side, and there's a darker area there. And I said I was kind of leaving that a little light, but we'll have something coming off the nose there. Okay, we got our flesh tone in there. Okay, now there's skin tones obviously down in here. Okay, we've got our colors in there. It's maybe running a little bit. That's okay because that's in the hair anyway, but I'll pull that back up into the, just kind of do this kind of thing here a little bit. And it looks like kind of a hot mess, right? You're like, oh no, this is terrible. It's, but actually, again, we're just kind of getting those colors in there a little bit. We've got some nice, actually some pretty nice flesh tones in there, better than I was anticipating with the color that I was originally using here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get a little gutsy here, okay? So what we'll do is I'm going to grab some red. I got a little alizarin crimson. Just going to look now on this. I've got a little darker. I could use a little perm rose. Okay, so I got a little more red in here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, this will be good. Okay, so now I'm going to look for, where is it kind of more of a reddish tone? So I see some red in and around here. I see it's a little bit darker above the eyes here. I got some coming in through there. And, okay, I've got some, well, definitely in the lips. I'll come back to that. Underneath here, I see some reds. Let's see, yep, definitely underneath here I got some red. And what about up? Yep, I definitely see some red up there. Okay, up on this side here, I definitely have some red there. I still am working pretty loose here, guys. I'm just throwing that color in there. Okay, I'm actually going to grab that. Yeah, I'm going to take this kind of greenish color that's up there yet. Do you see that? I'm just going to kind of run that into the hair a little bit and up above and into that face. Okay, now I'm looking. We definitely have some reds up in here. Yeah, this side of the nose has definitely got a little bit more of a red to it. And this side over here. Okay, all I'm trying to do, guys, is get some colors in there. Here's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to be real bold here. I'm going to grab, normally I like to mix purple, but in this case, I'm going to actually just grab some purple. Could grab from over here. There's some nice pretty purple. In fact, this is a really pretty purple. And I'm just going to put that in some of these darker areas. Okay, so that would obviously include kind of this beard area. Just going to kind of get that in there. I'm trying to be accurate, but I'm just trying, more at this point, I'm just trying to get that color in there a little bit. Yep, we'll get some, we know this area is dark right in here, right? So we'll get that in there. Still working pretty dark. I'm trying to create a little bit of a, you know, anytime I can win as far as getting those kind of textures. As far as mixing purple too, you can use ultramarine blue and just about any red and you'll get some nice purples. I'm just, for the sake of time here today, actually grabbing purple, which I actually would not recommend, but I'm doing it anyway. The one problem with the purple is once that's in there, you can't really lighten it and you're kind of stuck with that color, and it kind of can take over a painting a little bit. Just throwing that up in here a little bit. I'll have to work on what that actually looks like a little bit as it dries, but we got a nice little effect there. Okay, we're going to now work this into the hair a little bit. Or any other darks. Let me just, okay, the eyes. I'm going to throw a little bit into the eyes here. I got a little bigger brush here, so I got to be a little careful. Yep, we got a kind of a darker area in through here. Okay, and now let's throw this into the hair area. And we'll just kind of get this effect here. Where are those darks? That little ultramarine blue there I just grabbed and a little red and kind of mix that back into purple. Okay, get some nice effects. I could add water. I'm not gonna. Just gonna get these. Okay, there's that piece of hair. I'm gonna bring that there. Just, oh, here we go. Got a dark right up into there. And I'm still keeping some of these beautiful blues in there without, that's why I'm trying to be a little, not get too dark here. I can always come back and get darker later. I love what this hair is doing. Just keep that loose. I got a little too dry on me. Okay, where do, yep, the edge of the face is right about there. Okay, now I just got to look. Yeah, there's kind of a dark coming down. Sorry, I'm mumbling, but I'm kind of thinking as I'm going here. Yep, this is coming down here. Okay. All right, any other parts of this face that are pretty dark? Just going to throw a little bit of that up into the nose. I'm going to have to work on I'm using a pretty big brush here, so I'm going to have to work on some of those details a little bit. Okay, but here's what I love. Okay, as I bring that up, there's a lot of different ways to attack a face, guys, but what I love in this is, okay, is that a perfect drawing right now? No, but we've got some nice colors working in and around through the hair. Okay, and I haven't done really anything on this lips yet. That kind of looks ridiculous, but that will come together. This still is a little wet up in here. I'm going to kind of use that to my advantage. I'm going to stick it back into the hair, and I'm going to let that run back up like this, and maybe even a little bit into the face. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, flip that back around. Okay. Now, okay, this ran a little bit. Do I want that? Maybe not. Oh, yeah, actually, no, that is right. That's where that is. Okay, we're good. All right, now, here's where I'm thinking now. I think I like what this color is on here. You could always change that, but I kind of like that with these colors. So we're going to go ahead and put some of this red. This time I'll grab another brush here. Seem to have already lost that other one, so we'll just grab another brush. All right, here we go. Got something kind of medium, small size, flat brush. Doesn't matter that much, but I'm just going to grab this red over here. Come on. All right, grab that red. I'm going to stick that with this over here. Ooh, that's pretty vibrant. Okay, that's kind of what I want, though. All right, I'm going to mix. This is kind of cool. We're going to mix some red and orange. That is going to give us a really bright colors over here. So I'm going to grab this orange. I'm telling you right now, this is very vibrant, okay? It's a little trick adding red and orange together to get your paintings to have a little pop to them. All right. So I am again going to wet that area. I've got some color ready made here now. I'm going to grab that big brush again and just going to, okay, I'm going to keep that white kind of t-shirty look here, and I'm just going to kind of grab those colors. I'm actually going to leave that little white on top so that I can always keep that line a little bit. I'm just trying to get those colors in there. So I just wetted most of that area. Yes, I'm worried about some accuracy, but I'm really just trying to get the color in there. I love what this is going to do here. Okay, so here we go. Look at that. Notice I'm throwing the color into the water and kind of letting that water dictate what that's going to actually do. I'm not like going, okay, getting this all covered. I'm actually allowing for the water to keep some a little lighter, cut a little darker. Look at my picture, how this comes down. Okay, so now we're going to bring that, I'm going to bring that into the green and bring this line down. That I'm going to be a little more controlled about. I might even leave that little bit of green there and just kind of see what that, I can always come back in here, but I kind of like that line. Okay, one more dab of, let's grab this red again. That's very vibrant. Let's go over here and just throw a little more of that in there. I kind of look at my picture. Where is it light? Where is it dark? It's a little darker down in here, so I can bring that in. I'm going to leave it. Okay, now coming up, though, we got to get that edge pretty close to being right. We may have some hair there. Okay, let's leave that at that. That's pretty dark right there, but that's okay. All right, now, same thing on the other side. Red. Grab some of this orange. Got to be a little confident here to do this, right? Okay, so here we go. Here's the edge of our shirt. We're going to bring it right like that. Again, allow the paper and the water to kind of run this out. Some a little darker, some a little lighter. Where is it dark over here? Okay, so we have some more dark there. I'm going to go, right through here is kind of a darker area. Okay, I like that effect right there. Is this dry? Yeah, it's drying. Otherwise, I really would like to throw a little bit of that into the into his face a little bit, but you got to be a little careful about overpowering that. I tell you what, let's just let that go for now. I'm just going to kind of move that water a little bit. There we go. Okay, now the one spot I'm a little concerned about is right here, what that exactly looks like. But I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I do want to get a little bit of, this lips area, just so it's a little bit balanced as we're going here. I could be bold and grab some of this really bright, color that we have here, and that'd be okay. I'm going to maybe tone that down just a little bit. I have some opera pink, which I'm going to grab. But I can just, actually what I could just do is grab it, but take a lot of water on the brush. That would be another option. So I'll just kind of put it over here once. Okay, is that going to be too dark, too light? I've got a little pink here, opera pink I'm going to throw in there. But if you don't, that's okay. Just, that red and orange makes a nice, it's almost a pinky color. Now, is that going to be too bright on there? Possibly, so I'll just throw a little more water. A couple different ways to do this. I could wet it on the lips. I'm going to actually, in this case, because I want a little more control, I have a lot of water on my brush. I'm not going to wet it first, and I'm just going to try to pull this color into the lips area here now, so at least get the pink or that kind of color in there. Okay, there we go. Making lots of mistakes, not being afraid of them. Just trying to get the color in there, and then, yeah, that's good. Okay, where is it a little darker? Okay, so right in here, there we go. Just a little darker in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but now, got a couple choices. I definitely see some of that red color down in here yet. I kind of got to decide if I am going to let that dry a little bit before I press on. Today, because we are videoing, I think what I'm going to do is just work at it where it is. It may not be quite as accurate, but I think we'll still get some nice effects here, and I want to respect your time. So I'm just going to show you the painting here first, where we're at this point, and then we're going to decide, hey, we're going to take 5 more minutes and get this painting done, okay, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, okay? So you've got a nice, vibrant painting going on here. We have some issues with a couple of the details a little bit, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab probably a darker color, so let's grab that. Let's do this. Let's grab ultramarine blue. I'm going to work with that smaller round brush because I got to have some details, and then I'm reserving the last details to this one here. All right, we got 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to close out this picture. All right, so I'm going to grab that ultramarine blue. I'm going to mix it in with that bright red and orange. Let's show you what I mean. I'm just going to get that kind of color right there. It's a little darker so it can, okay, now we got to move quickly, but we need to move accurately. So biggest thing is now I got to look at this picture and look for where my darks are again and really tighten this up. Okay, so the eyes, we got to start, let's start with the eyes. Okay, where these darks are, come back into that eye there. We have kind of a line coming there. We have kind of a line coming here. It's running a little bit. Don't get too concerned though. If you make some mistakes like that, it's okay. Just as loose. When it dries, you could always come back if you want. I'm going to have to grab that small brush for the detail on the line right above the eye. There you go. Okay. There's a line there that needs to close up. Yeah, we need to have that darker. Okay, there we go. Now I got to look again. Yep, we definitely have a dark area. I mean, this nose, let's get this a little more accurate. It comes down and then goes up there. That's not great painting, but it'll work. If I made a mistake, I can pull that off a little bit. Okay. go. Okay. I'm going to get a little lighter, just a little line coming in through here, and a little bit of a line in through here. Okay, I know I have to have, there's a little darker area down underneath the eyes. Okay, I'm just going to put that little spot here in the eye. I do need to put some detail, I need to concentrate a little bit on these parts because the eyes will kind of set the stage for that picture. You can make a lot of mistakes, but there you got to be a little more on point. I need a flesh tone in there a little bit. Yeah, right here maybe. Yeah, okay, we're just going to do that a little bit. And I'm just going to look here what else is. Okay, so I've got this hairline right there, and this, yeah, there we go. I'm just going to add a couple more of these darks where the hair kind of comes down here. I really like this effect. And right there, okay, yep, okay, and we got our dark coming in there. Just kind of finding where these darks are. And what about this side? Yep, we definitely got some darks in here. I grabbed a little red, more red color there, which is fine. I love. There we go. All right, and it's dark right here up against that skin. And is there an ear? Nope, no ear today. So that's going to be dark right there. And then it's just a couple other darks down here. I'm trying to work quickly, but I love those colors. I think that's good. All right, now I got to look at those lips. We definitely have this line. I'm going to grab this one here and just get this line just a little darker, although I like that kind of purplish color in there. It's a blue, actually, a little more of a blue color. Okay, look on the side. Usually, it's going to be dark right here and right there. This is one of the rare photographs that isn't real dark in there. So normally it's going to be dark here, dark there. I do have some darker underneath here. And then we do have to get, I use this round, a little darker color again. Ultramarine blue, mix it back into those reds. Sorry, I got 20 things going here, guys. Okay, I do want to get this beard a little more down here and a little more pronounced in through there. Okay, we'll bring it down here. I'm going to just hit that. I'm going to even give him just a little more of a beard here. Kind of comes up this way. There we go. Back up that way. I like it. Keep it loose, but I could add more colors in there. I'm just actually that red with the little bit of blue, and you kind of get some cool effects with that. Again, where's it? Yeah, it's dark in through right here. Okay, that's looking. I know I want to respect time here, so we're going to bring that dark right there up against. Okay, I think that we have not a perfect painting, but something we can always go back on it later. But I think for the sake of this video and respecting your time, still a little wet, but I'll bring that up to you. Isn't it exact portrait picture here? No, but I tell you what, is that a beautiful, lot of colors and stuff in there? I can come back and get some of those details fixed on there once it's all dry. And sometimes it's good too to just let it sit for a day or a period of time and then come back to it. So hope you enjoyed. The Green Room Art Studio here with Coach Meyer, allowing you to just see kind of the inside of how you build out a portrait. And I'll always come back at the end and add some of those details and fix up some things. But boy, if you can let that be real loose, you can have a lot of fun with your paintings.